Hi friends, it's Miss Dina, and today we're going to do secret numbers. Shh. Okay friends, so our small group activity is called secret numbers. So you will need 2 sets of cards, one so you can either do just dots only, so like 1 through 10 or 1 through 20, whatever you want to work on at the time, and put the dots. So one card would have 1 dot, then 2 dots, then 3 dots, then 4 dots, so on and so forth. Okay? Then the second set, you can do the same, which is probably the best because you want it to match. So if you're using dots only, then you're going to do 2 sets of just the dots. Okay? Or you can do the number and the dot. So you could have number 1. Let's see if I have cards. Yes. So for example, I have a number 6 here and I have 6 dots. Okay. So it would look like this. If you were just doing dots, it would just look like that. And then the third option is just doing the numbers for your more advanced kiddos that already know their numbers. Okay. And you can just use index cards. You can use pieces of paper, construction paper, color paper, anything you have around the house is fine to do this. So you're going to make the 2 sets. Okay, so either dots and numbers, or just numbers. But make sure you have 2 sets. Okay, so 1 through 10, and then 1 through 10 for you. Okay? Or 20, whatever, you're using. Okay? Now, you're going to play a little game, and you're going to give the child a card from one pile and face down, so they can't see the card. So you've got to teach them to leave the card face down, leave it until you say. And then you're going to sing this little rhyme. I've got a secret number. What could it be? I'm ready to show you. Are you ready to see? Sing rinky dinky dinky, sing rinky dinky doo. Sing rinky dinky dinky, I'll pass my card to you. So if you're playing with your family, then you could have each person pass their card to the next person. And then you're going to turn the card over. You're going to put a card in the middle and see if somebody has the matching number. Okay? That's the gist of the game. Now, I understand that all the children are not at the same level, so to play it exactly like that would be a little challenging. So, if you're just starting out, start with like 1 to 3 cards. And then you're going to hold up the card and you're going to count the dots. Okay? So show your child how to do that 1-to-1 correspondence. This is very important in their development. Okay? So for your young children, you're just going to have dots. But make sure that you count with them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you have to do hand over hand and get their little finger out and hold their hand and have them touch each dot, that will be good. You want them to do that 1-to-1 correspondence. Okay, that's very important. All right. So And then you would just continue going through the cards until, you've counted, done all the numbers. And the more you do this, they're going to learn what numbers those are. They're going to recognize the numbers. Okay? And again, this is great to take to a restaurant, stick them in your purse, and say, here, let's practice these numbers. Okay? It's a fun way. All right. Once they learn those 3 numbers, you can work on 5 numbers. Okay, the same thing. You will start by counting the dots. Okay, invite them to count the dots on your card and their card to see that they do match, that they have the same number. Okay. Then you could introduce the number quantity cards 1 through 5, meaning has the number and the dots. Okay. So then use the cards that look distinctly different from one another. So, for example, numbers with curves and numbers without curves. Have the child count the dots and name the number on the card. Talk about the attributes or the shapes and characteristics of that number. So, for example, what number do you have on your card? The number has 2 curved lines, one at the top and one at the bottom. You can count the dots to find out how many. Yes, the number is 3. So you're talking about the characteristic of the number. So for example, you would say this is one curved line. It just comes down and around. This one has no straight lines. And it kind of has a circle with a tail, sort of. So you could describe it however you want. But just having them visualize the shapes and the characteristics of the numbers helps them in their mind to remember what number that is. Oh, 3 has 2 curved lines, one on top and one on bottom. That's the number 3. So they make these connections about how the shapes are formed to help them remember the numbers. Okay? Then you could include number quantity cards that have less distinct differences, like a 6 and a 9. They're, look very similar. Can you tell me what number I'm holding up? Let's count the dots and see if you're right. So again, they, originally might think it's a 9, but then when they count the dots, 6, right? And then the last level is use only the number cards. So you would just be using cards like this and have the child identify the numbers on the cards. Use descriptive words to help that child recognize the numeral. So if you've been doing this all along, you started with the dots and then you started describing the word. So not this one, but if you have the number 3, for example, it has a curved top and a curved bottom. They're going to remember in their mind, oh yes, that's the 3 because it's got the curved on top and curved on bottom. All right. So you might say something like, my secret number has a circle with a line pointing down. Do you know what it is? Oh, a circle with a line pointing down. It's like a number 9. Yes. So you would be holding your card so they couldn't see it, and you'd be describing it to them and see if they can figure out the number. So those are just some things you can do to help them learn their numbers. As you're doing this activity, think about which quantity cards your child was able to recognize. Did he or she point and count the dots or recognize the quantity without counting? So, I mean, if they see 3 dots and they don't have to count, and they said, oh, that's 3. That is something to take note of and let your teacher know. Did the child follow directions passing the cards while singing the song? How long was the child able to attend to the experience? So just let your teacher know if you do the activity, was it like 2 points, 5 seconds that they were able to do it? Or did they sit and do it with you for about 5 minutes? These are all important things for your child's development. So just let your teacher know how they did with the activity. As always, you can comment below if you have questions. I'd be happy to answer. I hope you enjoyed this activity. Again, it's fun for the kids. It's interactive, and you can take it with you easily because it doesn't need a lot of materials. It's a great one to take in a restaurant or in the car, things like that. So there's always an opportunity for learning. So just make the most of it. Thanks for watching.